welcome to Horror Rewind. This is Kelly Florence.
And I'm Meg Cocktail.
This week we are talking about one of the great bad movies, Invasion of the Blood Farmers.
Bad is being really nice.
Oh.
Putting it mildly.
Yeah, that is pretty kind just to say it's bad.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that.
Yeah.
How are you, Meg?
Good. I'm actually in a really good mood because this morning I sent my revised novel to my publisher and my developmental editor, and so it's in their court now. So that feels really
that's
good.
Awesome. Congratulations. Because your deadline was still a little ways away.
Yeah, so I got it a little bit early, and I feel so good. It's like a weight has been lifted off my shoulders until, of course, it's sent back to me with more red marks on it. But for right now, I feel really good.
Now, were you in high school or college, were you the kind of person who turned in your work ahead of time or on time, or were you late?
On time.
Okay.
I'm a very unorganized person, but on the same note, I don't like being late or having things like turned in late. That's like the one thing I probably can handle. But like everyone, if you could see, like Kelly has this perfectly organized notebook for Horror Rewind, and mine is literally a jumble of papers. So yeah, I'm not organized normally.
You know, I typically would turn things in early if I could, and then I found out, like, this one professor of mine in college, he would give extra credit if you turned it in early, but he didn't tell anybody. You would just find out as you got your paper back. And I was like, I'm always going to turn it in early. So
you teachers pet you.
Yeah. It was a good thing to do. But it's nice to get things in early, I think.
It is. It does feel good. But I think it's taken me to actually be in my 30s to realize that.
So we have an Anchor station. And if you're wondering what Anchor is, it's this cool app, and also you can listen online. It's like a radio station, and anybody can have one. So get the app and sign up. It's really fun. But on our Anchor station, we're featuring some of the stuff from our podcast. We're also featuring people calling in. We ask questions every day. We're giving some horror trivia, and just want to hear from our listeners, so it's a good way to contact us.
Yeah, we've been getting good call-ins, and yeah, we want to hear your voice, what you think. Also, I was thinking today, like when we discuss a movie, I was thinking there are probably people listening wishing we had talked about a certain aspect. So you guys should call on our Anchor station. And by the way, it's free to download the app and to do anything on it. You guys should download it, and then you can yell at us on there about what we should have talked about. And then maybe we can listen to what you say, and then maybe we can talk about it on what is this? On our podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. It's super cool. And we are Horror Rewind on there. So look for us. And to do a call-in, it's really easy because you just have to record on your phone like you're talking on the phone. And you can preview it before you send it. So if you're shy or worried about how you're going to sound, you can listen to it ahead of time. So don't worry. It's
like the old answering machines where you could actually listen when you were leaving a message to your ex-boyfriend and you were drunk and you you had that moment where you could change your mind.
Oh my gosh, whatever.
No, that never happened to me. That just happened in movies. My life's not that cool.
I was going to say, I want to hear the story.
No, I don't.
Okay, so yes, call into Anchor. Maybe not don't drunk dial. Well, maybe you could. I don't know.
I think it could be fun.
That could be interesting. So let's talk about Invasion of the Blood Farmers.
Speaking of being drunk, I feel like this movie, you need to be drunk, high, or like with a good friend when you're watching it. Don't you think?
Well,
or a combination of any of those.
I mean, it's probably not like I'm gonna watch this alone and get something out of it. It's definitely like it's a group of people who are willing to have a good time.
Yeah, because it's. In fact, I was thinking we should develop a drinking game for it.
Oh my gosh, can we come up with it right now?
Yeah.
Okay, what is it?
Well, basically just like take 2 shots when she
Wait, 2 shots?
Okay, 1 shot.
You're going to kill our listeners.
Okay,
right?
Yeah, don't do that. Like take 1 shot when her boyfriend tells her to go to sleep in the middle of the day.
Oh my gosh.
Stuff
Okay,
like that.
No, that's perfect because that happens a lot. I have that in my notes. Okay, so some information about Invasion of the Blood Farmers. It was released in 1972. Most of the actors worked for a 6-pack of beer. They didn't get paid for this movie. They literally got paid with a 6-pack of beer. Is that appropriate then?
I feel like that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
It was shot over 3 weekends, It had a $24,000 budget, and we know that was used for just film.
Well, that
because
was
they didn't
for
pay
the
for the
6
beer.
packs of beer.
Yeah. It has been called by one critic an accidental masterpiece.
I saw that when I Googled it. I'm like, wow, okay.
And just so you know, if you IMDb this movie and the cast, 99% of them don't go on to do anything else. Like, literally nobody.
It was all blank pictures. Like,
yes,
nobody actually
they don't even
had
have
an
pictures.
official picture. Can I read something?
Yeah.
I found something on IMDb. Did you see this? Written by the daughter.
No, I didn't see it.
Okay, this I'm going to read was posted in July of 2006, and it's called A Message from Chief Spanos' Daughter. So this is
my gosh,
the
Chief
daughter
Spano.
of the man who played the chief. It's quite long, so I'll just read a little bit of it. She said, Invasion of the Blood Farmers holds a very special place in my heart since my father played Chief Spano. And might I add, she was the only person who gave like 5 or 10 stars, whatever you can give on IMDb. It was really sweet. At various times in my life, I've been asked, what is something we don't know about you? I respond with, I'm a movie star's daughter. I know that's stretching it a bit, but my father did star in a movie. I realize that Invasion of the Blood Farmers is not an award-winning movie, but you get what you pay for in life. The Adlams, the producers, were our next-door neighbors, and my father and other people from the block were recruited to star in the movie. My father worked for the telephone company, so he was not hired for his acting talent. They even tried to get my aunt to record her scream for the movie, but she refused. It said, there was not much money spent on making the film. Jenny's house in the movie was the Adlams' home, and going on location meant a 5-minute ride into town. So anyway, it goes on and on. But basically, they hired this man who lived next door to them that worked for the telephone company to act in the movie. And if you haven't seen Invasion of the Blood Farmers, it's on Shudder. Where else can people find
I think it's on YouTube as well.
It's on YouTube. It's on DVD, I believe, too.
Mm-hmm.
How do you even describe it?
It's like the worst B movie you've ever seen. It's like Ed Wood, except bad. Worse.
Oh, yeah, it's even worse. But Ed Wood is, like, at least scratching the surface of what it is.
So ever since I first saw this movie, I mean, it's delightful in its terribleness, right? Ever since I saw this movie, I was like, oh, this is like a couple of community theater actors.
Oh, yeah.
And then a bunch of non-actors.
Yeah. And we know who the one really committed community theater actor is.
Because did you see his IMDb?
No, I didn't.
Well, he and his partner have donated a lot of money to and I think he was on Broadway even. Or
wow.
He was in plays, I don't know. Maybe it wasn't Broadway.
Money to what?
To all sorts of,
they're
gay charities. It was great. Philanthropic, yeah.
Philanthropic. Oh, that's
No, it was wonderful.
Nice.
But also a little tidbit. Most of the actors, who you can tell who were not the non-actors, including Chief Spano, had to read off of cue cards because they couldn't memorize. And you can tell that they're reading off of cue cards.
Yeah, you can.
But it's also delightful.
It is delightful. The first time I saw it was with you because you showed it to me. And it was so fun to watch. And I think that's why my experience this time, I watched it by myself. And it was like, watching it by myself is not really that fun.
No, it's not an alone movie. I mean, you have to be able to have a good time.
When we were together, like, I would think about things that we would laugh about as I was watching it back, probably, 15 years ago when we watched it. And, oh my gosh, it's, if you guys want a good time, like, just to watch a movie and make fun of it, it's low-hanging fruit because it's really easy to make fun of, but, it's so much fun.
Okay, so the opening scene is so terrible because you can't even tell what's going on. For some reason, there's this whole backstory about the Druids, and for some reason, whenever they show these people, like the Druids, and there's, like, this cliff, they couldn't get the camera close enough or something. And
it's like red smoke or something.
And you just cannot tell what's going on. So, I mean, right away. Oh, I should tell my history about this movie. I, picked up this VHS. I bought it. It was, 25 cents somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
It was, an old video store copy or something. And it was just so, I'm like, oh, I'll check this out because it's funny. And it was. And it was just, one of the best.
You get what you pay for. That's what Chief Spano's daughter said. Well, the first time you showed it to me, it's like I couldn't even believe it was real. Yeah. Because it's so bad on so many levels. And also, you're probably, if you haven't heard it, you're thinking, wait, this movie is called Invasion of the Blood Farmers. Why are you talking about Druids? But you guys, the Druids are pretending to be farmers? Is that what
They're farming or harvesting the blood of humans.
But I mean, they're dressed.
Oh yeah, they are dressed like farmers, and they have a pitchfork.
Yeah.
Oh god, there's so many levels to this.
Yes.
You're using logic. I've never applied logic to this.
Okay, you probably shouldn't.
Okay, there's the bloody guy who it's Jim Carrey is his character name. Old Jim Carrey. He's staggering. A car. If a bloody man was staggering down the highway. This car just honks at him and swerves to avoid him. It doesn't stop.
Way.
Yeah.
You think at least in the 70s people would be nice enough to stop? People don't have cell phones.
Oh my gosh. So is like, okay, this movie, this is where it's going to go. The acting, I wrote in capitals with many exclamation points, is so terrible.
It makes Bloodhook like Oscar caliber.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, when you think about Bloodhook, and even the gore in Bloodhook and the act, everything, it makes Bloodhook look so professional.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking in comparing it.
There's insert shots for no apparent reason of the bartender repeatedly. It's like they just like reaction shots. And they never have
to nothing.
Yeah, and they never have the camera on him when he's giving dialogue. So, I mean, it's terrible directing and editing. And what were they thinking?
Awful. Okay, but also, when old Jim Carrey comes stumbling in, the only thing they did is, like, white blood on his, like, forehead and his face. Oh, and he's sticking his tongue out.
Oh, the tongue action. I wrote that down.
He's just sticking his tongue out being like, ugh. You guys can imagine how I look right now. And then, when later it's described, they're like, it looks like he exploded.
Yes. They refer to him as exploding. Meg, I'm going to take a gif of you doing this tongue action. Okay, we're going to put this on our Instagram. You can see.
Oh, yeah,
it's perfect. But seriously, it makes no sense.
It makes no sense. They said he looked like he exploded, and they couldn't even, like, buy, like, a sausage and make it look like his intestines came out or something.
I know.
Like, put a little effort into it.
Right? They could have cooked the sausage inside the casket.
Yeah. I mean, come on.
So then the other thing I wrote, then the next scene is the couple. And her line readings are the worst.
Yeah.
She's terrible. And, they randomly cut to the guy from the bar, but now he's shirtless and drinking in his backyard at a picnic table. It's the guy whose wife is missing.
They only ever show that guy like that one time.
I know. But then it's like, but he was seated at the bar, like, and now I don't recognize him.
Oh,
but I realized it's the same guy but he doesn't have a shirt on.
Well, it's hard.
This is like my first watch of it where I put that together.
Yeah, no, seriously.
And he's drinking a bottle of liquor, not like a bottle of beer, a bottle of liquor.
His wife is missing. Oh, I said some great public domain music.
Oh, yes.
The music, you guys.
Oh, is it public domain?
I don't know.
Should see if there's a composer. Okay, then the next random scene, it's interspliced with this guy drinking his bottle of liquor, is his wife being drained of blood. But the shots and how they're framed, you can't even tell what's happening.
You can't even tell what's happening. And the sound of her exsanguination is like farting. Isn't it?
Yes.
It's like, that doesn't even sound like if blood was being drained.
And like this time, and I've seen it so many times, and I was like, wait, what is that? And I still couldn't make it out. It's her arm. But I was like, is that her legs? Like, what are we looking at?
It right. No. It's like, just hold the camera or place the camera in the correct place.
It's so bad.
It's just like later when the community theater guy's talking and literally the camera is tilted too far up toward the ceiling.
Yes. And they have to keep putting the camera up and down, but it's like on a stiff tripod.
Why? I know. But it's funny.
Okay, one of my favorite lines. I've written down some of my favorite lines.
Okay.
My favorite line that comes up at this point in the movie is, community theater says, "You're just a pushover for pathologists."
I think he's talking straight to me.
Because whoever he's dating, I didn't even write down their names. I couldn't handle it.
No.
His girlfriend, or fiance, as she says. He's a pathologist, and then her dad is a pathologist.
And by pathologist, you mean they wear white coats and go down the basement
and look at blood. Yeah.
Like, and then he's like, "There's no money in pathology." I'm like, well, okay. Normally there is, but like you're literally just going down the basement.
So you don't work for a hospital or anything.
Yeah, like this is not legitimate. You're right. There is no money in it.
I wrote down the editing is so bad, the cinematography, in quotation marks, because it's not cinematography, is so bad. It makes the movie laughable and lovable.
Yeah. There's the kind of bad horror movie that you can watch, and it's just boring and plotting and all that. This is bad on such a delightful, like, fun level.
Because they're trying, and they did it with love.
They are so earnest. Like, this isn't tongue-in-cheek at all.
No, they are really
serious.
That's what makes it watchable. Because there's bad horror movies.
Yeah.
That people are just, it's not good in any way, but this is lovable because it's bad.
Well, they're trying. They really are trying. I feel like, what an odd plot. And, like, why have druids? Name one good movie with a druid in it.
I can't.
I didn't think so.
Tweet us.
Hashtag good druid.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, like, why? Okay, I was gonna ask
There's
why
no
would
logic,
druids hang out in like farm country, but that's a stupid question.
There's no logic.
There's no logic.
Okay, I know I pointed this out on our first watch, and it's still my favorite, is when the dad first comes out of the house. He's like, you won't believe what's happening, and a Great Pyrenees runs out, and then you can see him look like, oh, should I get the dog back in?
He's like, huh? When I was watching it, I was laughing, remembering us laughing about it.
And this dog, the poor dog gets beaten to death.
I know, but it's so cheesy, I couldn't even...
Well, it's hard to even feel for a dog.
Normally, if a dog dies in a horror movie, I'm like, no, but it was so cheesy that I couldn't even... And why does he... Okay, again, why am I asking questions? I was going to say, why does he hang the dog's dead body out her door?
There's no point. There's no reason for it. I don't know.
Also, this dumb druid drops his very important druid key in the stream.
Oh, God.
Like, he had one job to do, and it was keep that druid key, and he couldn't even do it.
Okay, I don't even know. We could start applying logic to this, and then
I know, I'm sorry,
our heads would explode, like old Jim Carrey.
Yeah, he would explode, which means literally I would just have red paint wiped on my face.
They set up the camera for the scene with the two guys in the basement, and that's it. They do not move the camera. They do insert shots of random things that don't apply to what they're talking about.
Oh, wait,
but they literally never move the camera.
Like in the lab, or whatever. Yeah.
Lab in quotation marks.
Yeah. The mix of night and day shots is a staggering display of just. I mean, they
shot it over
no
3
idea
weekends,
what they were doing.
And
her boyfriend tells her, like, go back to bed, and the sun is high in the sky, like, as though she has some sort of condition.
Well, and I feel like, weird. Too, and I know it's bad filmmaking and bad writing, but I also feel like it's a sign that, there's a woman, and we don't know how to write her into this plot, so we're just going to have her keep sleeping.
Yeah, she did. Or she was cooking breakfast. She was cooking breakfast.
Oh, yeah.
Or sleeping. And, yeah. Go ahead.
I was going to say that main farmer bad guy who had one job. He has, like, fake gray hair, right?
Yeah. That was in Blood Hook, too.
I know.
Fake gray hair.
Why do you have to gray somebody?
I know.
Oh, and did you notice? I don't know what you were going to say, though. I might be skipping ahead. When there's, like, the guy with the cowboy hat cleaning up the blood, they do an obvious voiceover.
Yes!
It's so bad.
He's just, like, keeps wiping the blood. Yeah. And I guess that was supposed to show, because this blood that these quote-unquote pathologists find, like, it...
multiplies.
Okay, but what does that have to do with anything?
I don't know.
What does that have to do with them taking blood out of people?
Because if it does multiply that much, wouldn't you only have to harvest it from one person and then you're good?
Because they're like, if we have this much blood, it'll fill up our whole basement.
Yeah.
Well, they said that one guy, like, had gone rogue and he was, like, killing people. Oh, and then there's the whole thing about the druid princess.
I know.
Who would talk about sleeping the whole time. She is, like, Sleeping Beauty and she needs a host.
Yeah.
There was a lot going on.
There's too much. There's too much plot.
Too much plot.
Don't watch it for the plot, you guys.
No, what I wanted to say was the honeymoon couple. That guy was the least horny guy on a honeymoon ever.
I remember you said that the first time I showed this movie to you.
Well, I mean, what a
Meg, you're consistent.
She's like, this girl is, like, ready to go.
Wait, Can I guess something?
What?
Did you think the community theater guy was hot?
What?
Because he's got blonde hair.
Oh!
I'm just
okay,
thinking if you're consistent.
Not that easy to figure out. No, he was no.
Okay.
But no, like this honeymoon couple who were there just basically to get murdered. She was like ready to go. They had just gotten married, and her husband was being so weird.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't think you like girls or this girl or something.
Like what?
That was very.
That was a weird scene.
He was just like, oh, take it easy, calm down. I'm just like, ew. It was just
it's a
strange.
Weird scene.
And then there's this epidemic in horror movies, and I hate to even like talk about it. It's something so serious with such a cheesy movie, where like women, if they show any interest in sex or like being horny, they get murdered.
Right.
And I just felt like that was a prime example, where she was just like being a human being.
This movie is not great for feminism.
No. Did it pass the Bechdel test?
No.
Okay.
No. Like there's hardly any women in it.
So then no.
And they definitely didn't talk to each other.
No, you're right.
Did you notice the scene where the bad guys are like overhearing the conversation about where the pathologist lives or whoever, whatever.
Oh, okay.
And he has to write something on a piece of paper with a pencil. And the shot is so bad because you can't see what he's writing, and the piece of paper keeps folding, so he has to like keep rewriting it. It's just little things like that. It's so terrible.
Yeah, it's like any other filmmaker would start again, but not these guys.
No. Speaking of the Druids, do you know which guy I'm going to talk about who's really over the top?
The community theater guy?
No.
There's another guy?
Wait.
What?
Are we talking about two different guys?
Wait, I think we are. Wait,
Pencil mustache?
Wait, who's the blonde guy?
The other pathologist.
Oh, that guy. Did I think he was hot? I was thinking of the main druid prince.
Oh, no, God.
He has, like, great hair. No, I don't think the pathologist is hot.
Okay. How about the prince?
I mean, maybe I just have it bad for the unhorny guy, and that's why I'm, like, mad. I don't know. It was the honeymooner that told his wife to, like, keep in her pants.
Yeah.
That does it for me.
Oh, my God. But, okay, no, I was not referring to the Druid Prince as the community theater guy. But that
really?
He's also community theater.
Okay, the Druid Prince. Wait, we have to stop. So it was the pathologist guy who him and his partner.
Yeah, he went on to do things with his wife.
I kept picturing that it was the Druid Prince guy, because that guy to me is like community theater, like in a nutshell.
Well,
no
you know
offense
what?
to community theater.
No, I don't even think he's community theater.
Really?
I think he's like basement YouTuber.
Oh.
I don't know what. Like it's a step below.
Which is a step above podcaster.
I mean, he definitely didn't see the light of day. Yeah. Oh gosh, what if he's listening to this right now? I'm sorry, sir. We're gonna look you up and see what you did with your life.
Something about Invasion of the Blood Farmers. Finally, the conversation has started.
And here we are, like he lives in a basement. You shall smite them is what a line that I wrote down. Here we get into that.
That's
a
literal line in the movie, guys. That's called Invasion of the Blood Farmers.
He said smite more than once.
You know what line in the beginning made me laugh, because I feel like we used to laugh at it, was if I had a camera, I could have had a picture.
Yeah. If I had a camera, I could have had a picture.
I feel like I've like thought that sentence in my life.
Yeah.
And not knowing where it came from. And then when I saw it, I was like, oh, that's where that line comes from.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so lovable.
What else do you have?
I have the hoods, the druid hoods, are Ku Klux Klan hoods. They're just black.
My God. You're right.
The fabric is black.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's a Ku Klux Klan hood. Like, they went to Ku Klux Klan, .com, if that was a thing back then.
Yikes.
What else? I'm looking at my notes. Oh my gosh. Oh, I said the boyfriend's advice when all these people were missing to his girlfriend was that she should walk alone in the forest. He was like, you should go visit so-and-so and bring her something, like literally through the forest.
Oh, God.
So let's talk about the climax of the movie.
Yeah. Okay, the whole end sequence, without dialogue, and hardly any close-ups. Like, what's going on? Did they have to film it quick? Or you know what it is?
It was
I know
like
what
on
it
the
is.
top of, that was on top of a canyon or something too.
I know what it is.
What?
And it's the same start at the beginning. They didn't have like mics, like boom mics, so they just had to film with one camera. They probably ran out of their renting more cameras or something, and they were running out of daylight.
Yeah.
And I think they just had to shoot it without any dialogue because they couldn't get a mic over there.
It's like basically this girl, the girlfriend of the pathologist, gets kidnapped and brought to be a host, I think. So were they trying to like put the other woman in her body?
I don't know. I don't know either. It doesn't. I don't think it matters.
And then they just sort of have like this really sad kerfuffle on this rock.
Kerfuffle is the perfect word for what happens because it's basically like if we were pretending to wrestle, not really touching.
Yeah, it's very climactic, and then the end with the shot of I don't even know where to begin. Okay, when he's like. The dad pathologist, when he's like, what is his line? You did it earlier. I have something
you won't believe what's happening.
You won't believe what's happening. He yells that because he has a puppy and he's supposed to be in the basement. But then when they show him, there's like wind on his face.
Oh my god, yes.
There's like wind like going through his hair.
Yep.
But he's supposed to be in a basement. And like clearly he's not even there for the shot. It's so bad. Like, so bad.
I mean, they tried, but they didn't even try.
Well, I have to wonder, like, what their end game was. Like, what they thought.
Did they think it was going to be a hit? But you know what? When you're this earnest, you do, right?
They had to think that this was good. And, like, that I mean, I don't think perfectionism is ever a great thing, but sometimes having a little more pride, I don't know. I just can't imagine, like, making that and putting that out into the world and being like, this is my movie.
It's only 77 minutes long. It's on Shudder. I think it's on YouTube. Give it a watch as a fun night.
Yeah, no, it's so fun to watch. But like I said, like, be drunk or something. Or do the drinking game. We should make a drinking game and, like, post it.
We'll post it when we air this episode. It's so sad.
I wanted to see, I feel like this daughter, she said something about, like, seeing it in the theater. She said, when the movie came out in the theater, so it came out, I mean...
Apparently. I mean, I don't know how wide a release it could have been.
My dad took my brothers and a few neighbor kids to see it. They all got in free because the clerk recognized my dad's deep voice from the movie.
Oh.
It says, we always complained to him about the glasses he wore in the movie. They're not his real ones. He told Eddie, I missed who Eddie was, who didn't want to wear them. Eddie must be the guy who made it. He told me he didn't want to wear them, but Eddie forced him to wear the glasses. He said the sheriff had to have glasses on.
Oh, God.
And it says in the late 80s, my dad found out that he had a fan club in California.
What?
Yeah. 2 friends who liked the movie called out of the blue and told him how much they liked it, and they scheduled viewings of it at their college. My dad sent them a signed picture of their Invasion of the Blood Farmers for the viewings. And they sent my dad an annual birthday card for over 10 years.
Oh my gosh, that's so adorable.
That's actually really sweet.
Yeah.
Now I kind of feel bad.
No, but at the same time,
we love it.
We start, as we talk about it. You shouldn't talk about this movie, apparently, because as we talk about it, we're, like, criticizing it.
Yeah.
But it's actually really lovable.
Well, and like I said, it's kind of low-hanging fruit. Like, it's easy to criticize this movie because it is so bad on basically any cinema level. But it's really fun to watch.
Absolutely.
But I think I'm bitter because I was watching it by myself, and I was like, I wish I was watching it with Kelly.
Yeah.
So it's definitely one you wouldn't want to watch by yourself.
I agree. So ask me some questions, Meg.
Okay. Did it live up to your memories of it?
It's worse than I remembered because I think it's the thing, like, not watching it by yourself. You know?
Yeah, once you watch it by yourself, there were even, like, points where, like, I almost got a little, like, bored.
Yeah.
Because,
and sad.
Yeah, and sad. And, like, started questioning life. And how old were you the first time you watched it?
I was a teenager.
Okay. Did any scene stand out to you in the rewatch?
God.
There's so many.
Yeah. I don't even know. There was literally so many line readings. I was like, I can't write the entire script down. So, too many to mention.
Okay. You said earlier it passed the Bechdel test?
No, it does not.
Oh, no, it doesn't pass the Bechdel test. Okay, you're right. It doesn't. There were a few women, but they were never even in a scene together, except she was, like, trying to steal her to be her host body.
But that princess didn't even talk.
No, she didn't. She was, like, Sleeping Beauty or something.
Oh, God.
Is it still scary? It wasn't ever scary.
No and no. No.
Can you imagine? You know what, guys? This would be a good prank to be like, this is my favorite horror movie. Like, show it to somebody and be like, this is my favorite horror movie, and it really scares me. And watch their face.
I mean, how could you even you couldn't even get 5 minutes in and, like, take somebody seriously?
No.
Oh, my gosh. No, it's bad. Hi, Lisa. Welcome to Horror Rewind.
Hey, Kelly. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm great.
We missed you for a couple of weeks there because you were in the process of moving in New York City from one apartment to another. How did that go?
The move itself was not bad, but finding an apartment in New York is worse than people tell you.
It's its own horror movie, right?
It is its own horror movie. Oh my God! It was a pretty scary process, but we love it. We're really happy. We're in the process of furnishing and, like, DIYing, and that's great.
That's fun. Great.
Yeah. So thanks for having me back.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Well, welcome back. And so this week we talked about one of the best, worst movies called Invasion of the Blood Farmers. And I think you've got a fun drink this week. What did you make?
I made Sangria.
That's hilarious.
After learning that the clan of druids were the Sangroids, I was like, oh, this is a no-brainer.
Exactly.
We're gonna make Sangria.
Perfect. So tell our audience how you make it.
So, for this drink, start out, you're going to need a pitcher. And first and foremost, I'm going to have you start out by cutting fruit, because what is Sangria without, like, a bunch of fruit you get to eat while you drink? It's just like a 2-for-1. It's so great. So for mine, I cut up a green apple. I peeled an orange, and I cut that up. Some people leave the peels on, completely up to you, but I want to be able to munch on it as I go. That's me. I did a half cup of grapes, and I cut those up into quarters. 4 large strawberries, cut those up into small pieces, and a half of a lime. I left the skin on that because, I don't know, if you like eating limes, go for it. But I'm not there yet.
Yeah, me neither.
Let's just tequila involved, but not this time. So, put all of that cut fruit into your pitcher, and then I'm going to have you add, I didn't do the entire ingredients list, sorry.
That's fine, we can get it now.
Perfect. So, what you will also need for the rest of this drink, besides all of that delicious fruit, you're going to need some brown sugar. You're going to need, the other half of that lime you cut up. A can of blood orange San Pellegrino. You're going to need 4 ounces of brandy and 1 bottle of dry red wine.
Now
that you have, go ahead.
I was going to ask about the red wine. Like, does this have to be good red wine, or it can be cheap red wine?
No, cheap. Ideally, it's not going to be too sweet, because we're about to, all
you're going to sweeten it up.
And that sugar is going to make that happen for you. So stay with a drier, a dry Merlot or a dry cab, just something with no spice to it even.
Okay.
Which is kind of fun.
Awesome.
But go to Trader Joe's, get a $2 or $3 chuck depending on where you live. Let's not go crazy on this.
So we don't have to buy the top shelf brand of red wine.
Please don't. Because that wine should be enjoyed on its own and not with fruit and brandy thrown into it. So with your inexpensive bottle of red dry wine, we have the day. Put those 4 grams in, give all of that a stir to kind of like help break the sugar down and get the lime in there and everything, so that starts marinating right away. And then I'm going to have you pour in the wine, give that another stir, and finally pour in the blood orange San Pellegrino, which if you haven't had this on its own, it is just a refreshing soda.
That's amazing.
Like
I didn't even know that
soda.
existed.
Hmm?
I didn't even know that existed.
Yeah, I didn't either. Chris found it. My husband found it the other day, and I was like, oh, where have you been all my life? And some sangrias have you add either like an orange liqueur or an orange, like a triple sec or something. And I was like, we don't need to buy another liquor. We can just get this in the sparkling water form.
Perfect.
So dump that can in and stir that all up. So now you should have a pitcher full of goodness. And ideally, if you have time, if you're able to make this before your screening, pop that in the fridge for about 2 hours so it can really thoroughly chill and settle and get the fruit nice and boozy. If you don't have time, if you're like, people are here in 15 minutes, that's also fine. Just throw a couple of ice cubes into the glass that it's served with. And when you are serving it, make sure you either scoop out with a spoon or a little ladle so you get that fruit in that glass.
This sounds like a perfect summer drink, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited, and like you'll be ready to fight off the druids. You're fed and liquored up.
Yes, that's awesome. Thank you so much. We can't wait to try it.
You are so welcome. Enjoy. Happy summer sipping.
Yay.
And we'll talk to you soon.
Okay, sounds good. Bye, Lisa.
Bye, Kelly. Bye, Meg.
Okay, this week on our Fast Forward, we're doing a little something different. I'm in charge of the Fast Forward this week because I watched this new horror movie on Shudder called Lake Bodom.
Ooh, I'm excited to hear about this. You sent me the trailer.
Yes, I sent you the trailer because it was so cool looking. And full disclosure, I'm 100% Finnish, and anything from Finland, that sounds good to me.
Speaking of, when I drove up here today, you have a sign out there that must be in Finnish.
Yes,
what does it say?
it says welcome in Finnish, which is tervetuloa.
Okay,
so,
I figured that's what it said, but I was like, is that, at first I'm like, why is that word written on your, but now I know. And then I was like, it must be Finnish. Anyway, so this is a Finnish movie.
It's a Finnish movie.
Okay.
It's subtitled, but, you know.
Have you watched a lot of Finnish movies?
No. So this is cool.
Yeah.
And this is something I didn't know, too. The Lake Bodom murders are this really famous murder in real life that happened in Finland in 1960. Okay. And this movie takes place in the present, but it's based on these murders in 1960. And so I'm not going to give everything away. I'm not going to give anything away. But basically these 4 teenagers, of course, go out to the Lake Bodom where these murders occurred in the present day to be like, oh, you know, this is kind of cool what happened and whatever. And let's just say things don't go well.
It never does when 4 teenagers get together. Apparently in Finland, too.
Right.
Oh, man.
So this is super famous. One of the most famous murders in Finland. There were multiple homicides. It was in 1960. Okay. 4 teenagers went camping on the shores of Lake Bodom, and they were asleep in their tent because it happened between 4 a.m. and 6 a.m. An unknown person or persons murdered 3 of them with a knife and blunt object. The 4th person survived.
So they were stabbed and stuff, but they survived. Okay.
The 4th person survived, and he led a normal life between 1960 and 2004. Okay. And then he became a suspect.
What?
Yeah. And he went to trial. Should I tell you how it turned out?
No, don't.
Okay, well, I'm not going to tell you. You'll look it up.
Oh, my God. I love this shit. I love true crime shit.
I knew you were going to love
it.
it.
Oh, my God. I love it.
And you have to see the movie.
Oh, my God. I'm going to watch it, right now.
I have goosebumps. We can watch it later. Okay. I have goosebumps because they literally are like true crime aficionados, and specifically about this murder, which is real, and it really happened in Finland, and they made a movie about it.
Oh my God, I'm so
You're gonna
excited right now.
So something interesting. I looked up because I'm like, oh, how many murders are there in Finland?
Yeah.
And they said the murder rate in Finland is actually higher than the U.S. if you consider suicide murder, because the suicide rate's really high in Finland. If you don't consider suicide murder, which I don't know that I do, then of course it's lower.
Well, why are people killing themselves in Finland?
Because you don't have sunlight all winter.
Aww.
It's dark all winter in Finland, and it's light all...
That sounds delightful.
Well, I know. I would have
I like that.
And then in the summer, the sun never sets.
Oh.
So then I thought, well, let's look at some more facts. Russia has the highest suicide rate. Again, a lot of darkness in the winter.
Oh.
Mexico has the highest murder rate.
Okay.
So
heat makes you kill people, and cold makes you kill
yourself. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool. I didn't know if it was going to be like a supernatural movie or like...
Yeah, no.
Oh,
it's not.
Crap.
It's so good. And
that sounds really good. I love that shit.
And it's 2 girls, 2 guys.
Are they couples?
I'm not going to give anything away because
okay.
that may be part of the plot. And I'm not going to give any spoilers, and especially since we may watch this later.
Here's a question. Could you watch it without subtitles? Like, do you know enough
No,
Finnish?
not anymore.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, a little thing about myself. I used to speak Finnish much better than I do now because all 4 of my grandparents spoke Finnish fluently, and I could speak with them, but I don't speak it with anybody anymore.
Practice, that's kind of
it kind of goes away.
Oh my gosh.
So, see Lake Bodom, you guys. It's really, really good.
Oh.
Okay, we have to do our rating scale.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And since they're blood farmers, let's do pitchforks.
Yeah, okay. Bloody pitchforks.
Yeah.
Okay.
On a scale. And now, remember, this scale that we're rating and ranking, like, we gave The Shining, I think you gave The Shining an 11. Like, this is what we're basing it on. And we, last week or 2 weeks ago on Tremors, we gave it like a 6 and a 7.
Yeah, okay.
0 being it's really bad.
Okay.
It's the worst, I hate it. 10 being it's the greatest movie ever. How many bloody pitchforks do you give Invasion of Blood Farmers?
Out of respect to other horror movies, I have to give it a 1.
I was going to say the same thing. It's a 1.
It's a 1. Because it is technically a horror movie.
Right.
Because technically people die.
And it's scary.
Yeah, I couldn't give it any more than that. But it is, I know you guys don't believe me, but it's really worth watching if you're having a party or something.
Oh yeah, it's funny.
Yeah.
It's drinking games. We'll come up with that.
We're gonna make one, yeah.
Now Lake Bodom, you haven't seen it yet, but you have to rank it on your anticipation of it or my excitement over it. What do you give Lake Bodom? Bloody pitchforks.
Oh my gosh. Well, since I know it's based on a real murder and like a suspicious murder, I have to give it like 8.
Absolutely. Okay, I give it a 9. And it passes the Bechdel test, by the way.
Oh, that's exciting.
It's so good. It's so good. I'm not going to tell you anything.
Yeah, we're going to watch it.
It's so good.
Oh, I'm excited.
So check out our YouTube channel. Check out our Anchor station, as we mentioned. Anchor is an app that you can get on your phone, or you can go to anchorfm.com. Also, check out our Instagram, Twitter, all the places.
Yeah. Do all that.
Meg, anything else to report?
I'm
pregnant! No.
And I'm sharing with all of you.
Is it a druid?
It's a little druid baby in a little black robe.
I'm the host.
Yeah, so that's happening. I'm having a druid baby. I couldn't resist the druid farmer. You know I like toys.
Yes. Wait a minute, what about the honeymoon guy?
I couldn't resist the honeymoon guy.
Oh, man. Meg was busy this week. Okay.
All right. That's just silliness.
We'll see you in the horror section.
Okay, bye.